Hi, everybody. I see there are already some viewers, and I promised you a video today. I'm sorry that I haven't been online at all for quite some time, but a lot of things have challenged me to really grow spiritually fast. And today I shortly want to talk about a video that I wanted to stream about 3 or 4 weeks ago on relationships and love. And I want to stress the point today that love is not pain. Some people ask me in the previous short comments on Facebook whether their relationship or their marriage will last out till the end. We, of course, know that every relationship, even if it's a good relationship and a long marriage, that in the end we will lose our partner or our partner will lose us. So it's very important to actually know that a relationship needs to be constant in a flow of new life, new things, new awakenings, new growth, and that one keeps it alive and awake and passionate. Because when you settle into a relationship, because it's comfortable and you just get fat and lazy and moaning, and the same with your husband, then you mustn't be surprised if one of the two in a relationship or both are actually looking for somebody outside the marriage. So a long-term relationship is maybe a very good idea to sit down on regular basis and to discuss the relationship, how it can be invigorated again, what can be done that it's more alive, more awake, how can you really bring back some passion, and how can you keep it alive and really fun and joy and not just dreadful discussions and moaning and fear and bickering and criticism, because that's one of the things that one should refrain from. Never name, blame, or criticize your partner. But what I've seen in a relationship with my parents was that they respected one another and they were committed to one another, and they definitely loved each other. And this marriage lasted for 66 years. And my mother basically hardly ever, I never heard her telling my father what to do in his business, because she took her role as mother, caregiver, and helping my dad in his business very seriously, and she kept to herself. I want to discuss today, because I also had this morning 2 readings again that very much stressed what I'm going to talk to you about now. And I've actually started writing my story about dysfunctional relationships. Today, we find many, many YouTube videos discussing the relationships with narcissists. In my younger days, these men were called misogynists because they are control freaks and often have personality disorders and or severe addictions. When you get married too quickly, the man is too charming, and after you said your vows, you basically have a man who orders you for sex, to do what you need to be doing, criticizes you, runs you down, blames you for everything, and it becomes worse and worse. Do not think for a split second that the birth of a child will improve this situation, because it doesn't. The birth of a child, and very often a son, makes a relationship like that even worse. You do not need to stay in a relationship that you never signed up for. And even if you have children plan your exit. No child to toxic relationships where the mother gets called names like whores and bitch and useless and crazy, and she gets run down by her partner. You are not doing your children or your child a favor by staying in a dysfunctional, toxic, abusive relationship like that. And from experience of 25 years, I had a relationship with an alcoholic, I had a relationship with an ex-army person, or marriages which were so dysfunctional that abuse was on all levels, emotionally, physically, mentally, and quite dangerous. Some of these people are very successful. And unfortunately, I had those people, or I was married to those people that expected of me to be the main breadwinner, plus to be emotionally their mother, their friend, their lover, their confidant. And this is not a healthy relationship. These relationships are very unhealthy, very toxic, very dysfunctional. When you're in a relationship that is dysfunctional and abusive, and you're not being supported and listened to by your partner, when you cannot get closure to a fight, when you get called names, when you get blamed for everything, when the other person never takes responsibility for their actions, as there are two people in a relationship, not just one, don't believe that therapy will make it any better. I have, after 25 years of relationships like that, learned that I do not have to feel shame about this, because today I'm in a position to be able to say I've made a lot of missteps, but these were not failures. I learned a lot about love, because this planet is not a planet of unconditional love. And I know that I'm a very loving, giving person. And I was prepared to always look after my partners on all levels, financially, emotionally, mentally, because I love to be in love and I love partnerships. But with these years, I also learned that any man who expects of you to build up his business, to pay for his phone, to pay for his expenses, to keep him going, to buy for him clothes, and he cannot provide for you, stay away. See your own worth, learn to nurture yourself. And even the last relationship taught me most probably the most, which was 5 years ago, because these people cannot really get their life force from God. They get their life force from other humans. In other words, their soul is like it is, and very often negative, so that they only get energy by draining you till you're done. And if you're finished, they can move on to the next person, which they will do. And believe me, another woman will not have a better life. And if she says she has a better life, then she lies. Because people with these kind of attitudes and personality disorders are today, in today's times, and all these YouTubes are covert narcissists or direct narcissists. In other words, they have no empathy for other people. They have no regrets. They say they're sorry sometimes, but they're not. They will not improve themselves. They will go for therapy with you, just to tell you in the end that you're the one who's wrong. And they want to figure out what are your sore spots, where are your vulnerabilities, to break you even down even more. Know your worth. It's not worth to go into any kind of relationship where in the end you are sick, you are drained, you're tired, you go on to anxiety tablets, you're on depression tablets. you can't sleep, you have a stomach ulcer, your children suffer, you suffer. Know that nobody asks of you, and definitely not God asks of you, to sacrifice your life for a person who has no remorse, no love, nothing for you, just to use and abuse you and break you down, because they will never have good self-worth. And don't make excuses if you are with a partner, man, in my case, with a man like that, because they never change. They mostly have personality disorders from childhood, and they cannot change. And these people also have a place here on earth, because we live on a planet with polarities. In other words, there's day and night, there is moonshine and sunshine, there is positive, negative, there's good and bad. There are all these polarities. So on planet Earth, we will not find unconditional love. We will find conditional love, but we can choose relationships where we have an equal partner, where we have support, where we can make compromises, where both people bring their best, where both people support each other in their best and their saddest moments, and where people can hold hands, and where people can share the deepest fears and anxieties with their partners, and have a person who is a support system to them. Everything else could be like my last partner had a marriage of 17 or 20 years with his third wife, but it was actually a real contract, so it was bargaining. She knew exactly that she needed a man to bring up her children, and when the children were educated, she left him when he was on the fall, because he had a business which then went bankrupt. So very often when you are with a misogynist, stroke narcissist, stroke just dysfunctional personality disorder person, you cannot fix this person. You cannot rescue this person. Don't think that this person will really change, because alchemy already gets formed very early in the relationship. And when you think that you model love and then you will get it back, you're up for a real disillusionment and a real disappointment. And luckily, in today's age, knowing that love is a give and receive, there's nothing else, and that you need to be able to look after yourself financially and emotionally, then you will attract a better partner. And if you have too much issues and you're the only one who makes right and who puts me into a relationship and who puts all your emotions into a relationship, and you still get called a bitch or a whore or whatever these people always swear at you, or they just break you down because nothing is good enough for them. And even if you make an effort, they don't give you ever a compliment, really. And they try and break you down, especially when you're a spiritual person, an empath, who's open to be giving and always giving and giving. So be very careful before you choose a person, and give it time, because the red flags you will see. And trust your gut feeling. If you live with this constant feeling of something is wrong, then trust your gut feeling, because it's God-given, and pray about it. And don't think that a man who betrays you and has relationships and texts other women and drums together a whole support system for him, and then talks behind your back and even tries to turn your family around against you, and even tries to isolate you from your family, criticizes your family, breaks them down without knowing your family, you need to know that this is wrong, full stop. So have a good look at your relationships, and don't try after a year or 2 years, when you see that this is not working, that you think it will work in 15 or 20 years. And then don't question if you're physically sick, where it comes from, because your heart and your body, or your heart and your mind, are then not in balance, they're not aligned. So your body is giving you real signals that it's in pain, and your gut is telling you, your gut equals your intuition, God's voice, your inner knowing will warn you against relationships like these. So choose your relationships very carefully. But when you have a good man in your life or a good woman in your life, see to it that you value this, because a good relationship is not a given. It's not a present that's due to you. It's grace. It's a divine gift. Then work on it. Go regularly for dating nights. Have romantic evenings. Surprise your partner with a nice bubble bath, or a gift, or a dinner unexpectedly, or rusks and coffee in bed, or that you go on a diet because you're overweight and you want to look better for your partner and for yourself. Support each other with going for walks regularly, for doing exercises together, for reading books together, and also doing your own things so that you can come home and actually exchange news that you can share with one another. You need to wake up, stir up, shake up your relationship regularly to have an alive and passionate and loving relationship. Don't take a good relationship ever for granted, because as we know, death or an ending to something is always unpredictable, or it's predictable for some people like myself, but it never comes expectantly into one's life, especially not death. They know that I'm right, that I then tell them if they, and we feel good if we've really been in a good place with our partner, and they then pass on because we've done our best. We've given flowers while they were alive. We sort out arguments as they are. But if you are in a wrong relationship, or a narcissistic relationship, abusive relationship, you will never have closure. You will always feel guilty as long as you stay in there. And if you have also this painful drama, karma, bond, it takes a long time to heal. And like from my perspective, it took me 2-3 years to heal out of this relationship, and now to be open and finding my voice in saying, I have lived abusive relationship for far too long. I know now that I'd rather stay on my own than having a dysfunctional, toxic relationship and harming myself and people and the pets that I have by having a relationship like that. I would never do this again. But when one makes a decision like that, after the first date, you always know, second, third date, you will know whether you are with a person that you want to get to notice better, or want to spend more time with, or not. And luckily, I'm in a position like that now, that I can actually look at somebody and say, is this an equal partner? Would I like to get to know this person better? Because I think that respect is a very important aspect. If you don't know what love is, then look for respect and have boundaries also for yourself, and that the other person knows where you end and where they begin, and that each one sorts their own finances out, their own emotions. Nobody else is responsible for your happiness. I wish you a lovely evening, Monday evening tonight. I'm still reachable on marietatiernissen.com, which is my website. And namaste. I'll be soon on here again, because I want to do some live readings for some people very soon. But till such time, have a wonderful evening.